Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha. Today I'm having steak, brown rice, and broccoli. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast of champions. Or some people are going to be like, Jason, what are you going to eat for the rest of the day? Steak, broccoli, brown rice, and some Greek yogurt. My food isn't really that complex, people. So, let's talk about food. Let's talk about GPP. Here's the thing. When it comes to bulking, you need to be doing GPP. What do we mean by GPP? That means general physical preparedness. I do quite a few videos on this, and people have now seen me sled drag. People always pull this. You don't do GPP. Well, you guys used to watch me do Metcon circuit training. Used to watch me do farmers walks. And I've had a sled forever. I went out and drug a sled a while back on camera. So you guys have seen it at least once. I might do it again before this video is even up. It's normal for me. It's part of my training. Look at my quad size and how much I squat. It's probably a factor. So let's not pretend I don't do it. And I promote GPP. So what do we mean by GPP? Because people will go, well, if I ride my bike really fast. Like, no, that's just interval training. Okay? That's just cardio. And let me be clear here. That isn't a bad idea in this same environment. So I don't want people to think that I'm saying, hey, some interval training would be stupid or terrible when bulking. No, it's probably a pretty good idea. You could mix it with your GPP because being conditioned is good. But GPP is general physical preparedness. That means strength-based conditioning. Strength-based conditioning. It needs to have a resistance component that kind of uses your whole body. Okay, riding a bike doesn't really use your whole body, even if you sprint on it. It's just your lower body. So, some sled dragging because your core gets involved. Prowler pushing, which is also sled pushing. Barbell complexes. You could do a bunch of kettlebell swings. A lot of the stuff they do in CrossFit counts as GPP. Their Metcon is more or less GPP. Okay. This is what we mean by GPP. It needs to be a resistance training component, but it's resistance training done in such a way that your volumes bring your heart rate way up and improve conditioning. And, we could get some of that on a 10 rep squat, but it's not quite the same. It really isn't the same thing. So the question becomes, why do it? Well, a lot of it has to do with work capacity, recovery, and health. Right? These are important. All right, the health aspect, let's talk about that right up front. I think that's important. I don't want to put that last but least because everyone cares about gains. When we are bulking, that means we are gaining weight. Now, whenever people use that word, it's like a loaded term. People have turned bulking into some dirty term almost where everyone wants to rename it as something else because people confuse bulking with the slang term dreamer bulking, which means you just get real fat. It's not the same thing. But you are gaining weight and you are usually gaining some body fat when you bulk. Lean bulking is so slow that you guys will not be happy with your results doing it. I promise you won't be. Because you're going to spin your wheels. You're going to feel like you're getting nowhere. If you're gaining some body fat, you will be gaining more muscle, gaining more strength. You can trim the fat off later. And you'll end up being bigger in a shorter period of time if you bulk and then cut. You'll end up finishing your cut a year before you go to finish your slow bulk. So it actually is the fast way. Like it is for the person who's not patient. Because everyone else has this, well, I don't want to deal with the bulking and cutting, and they think that that's delayed gratification. No, you're just going to spin your wheels for years. Or you don't mind taking 5 years to do what you could have done in 2 years. Well, okay. Most people want to get some good gains over the next couple of years usually. You need to bulk and cut. All right, downside. Gaining weight, gaining body fat oftentimes makes your blood work look worse. Just like losing body fat, even on a bad diet in the short term, improves health markers. Okay, so as you're gaining body fat, as you'll gain a little bit while you're bulking, it may not be the prettiest on your blood work. Now, if you're in good shape and you're healthy and you're lifting, it doesn't mean it's going to look like a sedentary obese person's, but your health markers could get slightly worse. And it's something to think about. Okay, being in shape and doing conditioning like this improves them. It will improve those health markers. It will improve them. So if you're lifting and you're doing conditioning and you're getting in better and better shape as you're bulking, a lot of times your blood work doesn't look worse. Your health may even improve, depending on how hard you push the bulk. Keep in mind, this is relative. Again, I don't want people to think that I said, oh, if you just go drag a sled a couple times a week, you can gain 30 pounds of body fat and nothing bad's going to happen to your blood work. I'm not saying that. Context, people. All right, better health. Number 2, work capacity recovery. All right, we adapt better when we're overeating. I always tell this to people. People want to add a bunch of cardio when they cut. That's stupid. You don't have the tools to recover from it and build the work capacity. The extra food repairs tissues quicker. It causes you to adapt quicker. You can actually do more GPP and train harder when you're eating more food. Therefore, you get a larger training response, better adaptation, adapt to it quicker. Why does this matter? Number 1, GPP can add muscle itself. You can actually get some muscle mass from GPP. Number 1. Number 2, it enhances work capacity and recovery in the gym. Why does that matter? Training volume is very heavily tied to muscle growth. The downside, we can only recover from so much volume, and then we start getting reduced muscle growth. One reason people on anabolics can train with higher volumes, they recover from it better. So the extra training response they get isn't always junk volume, because we're always fighting that stimulus versus recovery curve. And if your volume starts to exceed recovery, you gain less muscle, even though all your work was the same and then you did a little extra, you actually gain less. It's been found in multiple studies. Being in better shape improves that work capacity in the gym. Okay. It also enhances your ability to clear waste products to recover. In other words, if you are in really good shape, you can train longer. You can recover from it a little quicker. So what does that mean for maximizing your gains? You see where we're going with this? You can get better muscle growth out of your bulk. You can get better muscle growth out of your bulk. You can optimize your bulk more. Because isn't that the whole point? We're eating enough to gain weight and we're training hard. Ideally, our goal is to gain as much muscle as we can out of it. I mean, if we're going to go through the trouble to gain muscle, gain weight, and gain some body fat that we're going to have to possibly trim off later, we can make the most out of it and gain as much as we possibly can. It wouldn't be a bad idea. And you're going to feel better because you're going to be in better shape. This is the healthy way to do it. This is the healthiest and most efficient and effective and optimal way to bulk. Is to keep raising your conditioning through the bulk. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.